Now I'm training 2 to 3 times every day, putting in 30 hours of running related activities a week, but I'm no pro runner. Yet. So how can I afford to live this marathon monk lifestyle? Well, I moved to Japan a year and a half ago with no job and no money, but now I'm somehow able to make a full-time living through running and YouTube. This is how it all came together. So let me first give a quick backstory as to how I ended up here in the middle of Tokyo. So when I was living in the UK, I heard about this scholarship program called Daiwa, and they were offering these fully funded scholarships a year and a half in Japan. Now I wanted to come out here to discover the running scene because I heard mad things about it. And I thought, geez, this sounds too good to be true. Fully funded, let's go. All you had to do in the application was show how you're going to bridge the gap between the UK and Japan. And for me, I said that was through running. I wanted to learn about the secrets of the marathon monks here and see how in the UK and abroad we could apply that to our own running and help grow the scene there. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do through my YouTube channel, like expose this mad Japanese running scene to a foreign audience. So everyone else that applied for this program actually had proper career paths. Unlike me being a wannabe runner, they were all lawyers, bankers, doctors, like almost everyone had been to Oxford or Cambridge. These guys were legit. But somehow I fluked my way onto the program and got a place. So I quit my job, packed my bags and headed out to Japan. And I spent the first year here doing this intensive Japanese course, like full time. And then after that, we had a 6-month work placement section. And then that finally finished in March. And since then, I've been free on my own. No more monthly stipend from the program. And I've had to somehow scrape by as I pursue this running dream, turning pro. And luckily, thanks to everyone watching these videos on YouTube, that has been possible. Now, I'm still very new to YouTube and the channel's growing quickly, but it's still relatively small. So I think people are quite surprised when I say I'm a full-time YouTuber. But thank God the cost of living in Japan is so cheap. Like compared to London, it's probably a third of the price what I'm paying. So I can get by pretty comfortably in my 20-meter squared apartment. Living off packet microwave rice, I'm chilling out here. Whereas if I was back home in London, it would probably be a lot more tricky. But talking of London, that's where the idea of starting a YouTube channel originated. So I wanted to become a full-time runner and see how good I could get, but at the time I was nowhere near fast enough. Like before I moved to Japan, my PB for the marathon was 2:38 and for the half marathon was 72. So I wasn't even in the realms of turning pro, and I saw how hard it was, even for guys that were near that 2:10 barrier, to actually make a proper living from running. But then I see YouTubers like Ben Felton, Ben Parks, Philly Bowden doing very nicely from YouTube and living as full-time runners. So I started doing some heavy research. I think I put together like a 20-page document. I've been studying all the big YouTubers, the smaller ones, seeing what made channels pop off and videos do well, and then likewise what wasn't popular. And I realized there was this gap in the market with the Japan niche. The fact that I was moving over there was tons of Japanese content, but it was only in Japanese. So I was thinking I could showcase my lifestyle here, trying to integrate into the Japanese running scene, but do it in English so people could actually understand. And when I looked at running as a whole, it is probably the worst marketed sport on earth. It's quite unbelievable how bad it is. I'm pretty sure running has the highest participant numbers of any sport on earth. Like there's no barrier to entry. Every country does it. Yet the viewing numbers are absolutely shocking. Like no one has any interest in pro running. You could have some of the best runners in the UK run past you, and if it's not Mo Farah, then most people on the street wouldn't have a clue. And actually just before coming back to London, I've been in the US doing a master's in sports marketing, and I'd studied successful sports like MMA with the UFC and seen how well they'd done things. Like the coverage they have of fighters is unreal. Like before every big fight card, there's documentaries, there's vlogs leading up to the fights. You get to know the fighters, their personalities. So it's so much easier to become invested in them and then care about the outcome of their fight. In running, we don't have any of that. You see the top runners for 2 hours maybe, 2 times a year during their key marathons. Outside of that, we don't hear a thing. So how is it possible to care about them when we know absolutely nothing about them? So I thought if I just showcase everything about my life, my running journey, then hopefully people will get behind it. And I wanted to start the YouTube channel as soon as I moved to Japan, but then I had that slight issue with the Japanese language program getting in my way, and I didn't have any time for that. So actually the intro to my first ever YouTube video was filmed a year before that video ever released, back when I was in London. But then eventually after a year in Japan, I managed to kickstart the channel, and here we are now. The Ran to Japan army is unstoppable. Now I'll talk later in the video about how I actually make money from this and what my future plans are with the YouTube. But I'm a runner after all, so how is that going after the recent infection and surgery? So to give an update on the whole arm, hand situation, you can see it's healing up pretty nicely there. I'm off the antibiotics now and I took the stitches out my arm. So in terms of the post-infection recovery, I'm doing well. If only the same could be said for my bank account, as I got hit with a bomb just after getting home from this run. So I thought that whole medical situation, the hospital saga, was free, because everyone at the hospital was saying, yeah, in Scandinavia, healthcare is completely free, but I wasn't exactly sure because it seemed like it might just be for Scandinavians. But they didn't charge me at all. I left the hospital, no problem. And I've just had a bill come through on my phone for 2.5 grand. That's like 5 months of rent in Japan. It's an absolute killer. And originally I thought I'd been covered with my insurance through Revolut, you know, their like bank account. But their rules are they only cover you if your trip starts and finishes in the UK. So obviously mine started in Japan, finished in Japan. So I'm not actually covered through that. Absolute bastards. I mean, at least I have an arm, I guess. I can't complain, but yeah, that bill hits heavy. So if you see a few more sponsors on the channel in the coming months, then that's why. But back to pre-run and the chat about this comeback. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, these bad boys have been absolutely banged up. Having that 2 weeks off has done some serious damage. I had people on the last video saying, oh, it's great, your body's had a nice little rest, recover from the mileage. Nah, it doesn't quite work like that. When I'm used to running so often and so much, having 2 complete weeks off, everything just stiffens up, like quads, glutes, hip, everything has been in so much pain this week coming back. I've managed to gradually build up the mileage. In the last video, I'd done 5K, just a little tester. And then since then, I've added the doubles back in, just each day added more and more Ks on. And I think I hit about 140K last week, but it was the most painful training week of my life. Even though before that, I've been doing double the weekly mileage, 280Ks. That 140 right there was 10 times harder, I'm telling you. But at least I'm actually back running again. And last week was just sort of easy jogging, like nothing crazy, couple little strides in there, hill sprints. But I need to start gradually working in some intensity now. So I'm going for a 30K longish run. First 20K easy, and then the last 10K, hopefully pick up a little bit, get some solid steady running in, and then this week I can work in some sessions now. That's gonna be the dangerous area where like calves, Achilles, always my kryptonite zones, they're always so tight after some time off. So we'll see if I can get through it today, but I'm on the river, a nice little running course. Let's get back out there and do what I do best, pounding pavements. So I was cheating this morning on Yoyogi Park with the Barraclough. So there was no laps on the menu today. What a treat. I like getting a train out here for the longer runs because you see it's completely uninterrupted. There's no stop signs, traffic lights like in the middle. I'm actually feeling my Achilles a little bit already. I like to put the heel cups in today to just raise it up a bit, take some of that pressure off. But the Achilles wasn't my only nemesis during this run. Battling the wind, Jesus. Told me this route, it's an out and back. You always get killed on the way out, but then luck I can turn back. I timed the pickup so I get that wind behind me. Tactical way. 5 more easy and then we'll try and pick up. All right, so now done 20K, 4:15s. Doesn't feel that easy. My legs are pretty tired, but I'm gonna try and pick up, just get to the top of this hill and then we'll start this. I can't even speak. Jesus. We'll start the steady section. And the loss of words was a sign of things to come, as my body just wasn't cooperating today at all. But at least I didn't show any signs of frustration. Oh, this is so I'm struggling so bad. I'm going kind of flat out. This is probably marathon pace at the moment, like 3:48s. Just gotta try and get down over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, it feels really hard at the moment. And I tried to keep it rolling, but was just completely cooked and had to pull the plug halfway through. I was basically flat out 5K, 350 pace. Oh my God, quite incredible how much slower I am. I know that antibiotics can take months probably to fully recover from. Like I was so weak, I could barely walk upstairs when I was in the hospital. Obviously it's a major setback. I'm not gonna be getting back into good shape until way later in the year. Yeah, it's completely different to a 2-week break from injury where you can bounce straight back in. Like during this infection, my whole body was fighting for survival, so it's definitely taken a much bigger toll. So what exactly does this mean for the build up to Gold Coast Marathon? That's obviously my big target after Tokyo where I ran 2:14. I then moved moved my sights on to that big sub 210 barrier, was looking at Gold Coast as the opportunity to do it. So until now, I've been using the app Kaizen to try and maximize my training load throughout the build. As I was coming back from Tokyo, just gradually increasing week on week, you can see I've been getting in some naughty little shape here as I pushed the mileage up and hit their weekly goals. And then I obviously had that huge drop off. The graph has taken an absolute battering here. So what I'm thinking with Gold Coast is there's no other big marathons around that time of year, like in the summer. It's pretty much the only opportunity. So I might as well give it the best go I can and just see from now until then how much fitness I can gain back. Now, with it being a target race, I just think there's no point in running for anything less than a PB. So on the Kaizen app, I switched it up and went time goal, Gold Coast Marathon 2:13. So my training from now on will be based around that target. You can see the weekly goals here, and hopefully I get closer and closer to that target over the next couple of weeks. So shout out to Kaizen for their continued support. And if you want to get an extended free trial of the app, then use my code RANTOJAPAN. I'll leave the link in the description. So if you want a flexible training plan and race predictor to take your running to the next level, then I'd highly recommend to check them out. Now, you might have thought that I'd actually finished up with that 30k run, but oh boy, I was only just getting started. Oh my God, I'm struggling so badly. I feel like I'm not even gonna make it out back. I'm at 28k, but I'm bombing so bad. I'm so exhausted. And things kept going south pretty quickly, so I apologize for the slurred speech. Well, I think I might be low on energy. Maybe a slow blood sugar. I'm gonna try and find a vending machine, but I'm gonna try and get over this bridge and then I can find some kind of sugar. So I crawled to the finish, but wasn't in the best way. I'll probably need to keep the subtitles on for this bit. I've done it. 30k. Oh my God. Harder challenge is still to come. I've got to just make it to some kind of vending machine. I feel like I'm so low in energy. I think it's just a sugar thing. I don't think I ate enough for the run. So backwards. These machines just don't take card. So I stumbled along for a bit longer until I eventually found a vending machine that accepted my travel card. Oh yes, get me some energy. Come on. Oh, it's the best feeling in the world. Oh, give it 10 minutes, I'll start coming back around. Can give a proper post-run commentary. Now, while I gradually de-zombify, why don't you give that cheeky little subscribe button a tap if you're new around here to support the Marathon Monk cause. Well, that was a bit of an eventful end to the run. I think it was literally just low blood sugar level. Today, I guess for breakfast, I only had a banana and a bowl of porridge. I think because of 2 weeks off, I kind of got used to eating way less. I mean, I was getting a fair amount of Danish pastries in Denmark, but probably wasn't anywhere near the calories I normally would. And I think I've just probably kept eating like that because my appetite's gone down a little bit since like stopping exercising as much. So probably just getting used now to eating like 5 meals a day again, getting the constant snacks in, because I'm gonna need that energy more than ever now as I'm trying to build back up and stay injury free. And talking of snacks, you know what time it is. So for today's Scran to Japan segment, I'm gonna show you a classic post-run snack. It's like, I wanna get something in quickly. I'll cook a bigger, proper meal later, but this is just a little top up to keep the energy going. And it's something I can whip up in 2 minutes at home. So I've got my microwave rice. I know I'm gonna have everyone in the comments telling me, buy a rice cooker. Well, can your rice cooker do it in 2 minutes? No, efficiency, that's what we want here. And this is like 50p, so it's not exactly breaking the bank. So I've heated up the rice here. That's gonna be the base layer. It's gonna go in here. And this dish is called tamago kake gohan, which just basically means raw egg and rice. It's a simple classic and a go-to in my cooking arsenal. So I'm making a little hole in the middle of that rice, and then we're gonna crack this, try and do it one-handed. Oh yeah, this is definitely above my skill level. Trying to multitask with the filming cooking is a challenge. Then we're gonna go a dash of soy sauce. I'm then gonna break up this rice cracker. So that's gonna be the special topping, but actually I've gotta add first some of this dried seaweed. So we chuck a little bit of that on. That just adds a bit of salty goodness. I know raw egg back home is seen as like lethal, dangerous salmonella territory, but here it's completely normal. So then sometimes with this, I'll also whack a bit of natto on top, that fermented soybean. Or sometimes I'll go for a canned tuna topping. It really is that versatile. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing this dish popping up in Michelin-star restaurants once this video gets out. So it might not look like the best dish, but it's actually packing some solid flavour. Oh yeah, gotta get that fuel in. No messing about. Don't gotta make anything fancy. Tamago kake gohan is an absolute winner. Now let's chat more about this channel and how I actually make a living through it. So I'm just heading down to Shibuya now. I've got a couple of things to do here. Then I'll hit a cafe, classic little work spot, get some YouTube editing done. And I want to peel back the curtain a little bit on this YouTube channel, give you some behind the scenes content. So this is that famous crossing, the Shibuya Scramble. Absolute nightmare. I can't understand why anyone would come here. I only come into Shibuya if it's absolutely essential. Other than that, I'm avoiding this at all costs. It is the worst. I'll take my nice scenic Yoyogi Park any day. Not a big fan of this, especially after just coming from Copenhagen. Like the entire time I was there, it felt like a ghost town in comparison to Tokyo. But I think that's just a normal European city. I've been too desensitized, but I love Copenhagen. I just thought it was so nice. Like all this space, didn't feel like you're constantly bumping into people. And then you come back to Tokyo and it's just chaos anywhere you go. So I'm actually looking to move out soon. But as to where in Japan, well, that ties into some big plans that I've got coming up, so no spoilers for now. So I managed to escape the busy Shibuya area, headed to a little cafe, so I get a bit of work done. I find I spend half my week exploring the different cafes around Tokyo, because I don't think people realise, but the editing for these videos takes so much time. I reckon just to get one video out a week, I'm putting in over 20 hours of work towards that. From like coming up with the idea, the planning. I don't script the videos, but I have some pretty solid like bullet points, like what I'm going to talk about in each section, different locations, try and keep the scenes relatively interesting. So it's not just a talking head video for like 20 minutes. So if you pay attention to the videos, every couple seconds there's little changes, there's overlays, there's B-roll. And then obviously it's a completely solo endeavor. So I'm doing the whole filming and then I'm editing it, the thumbnail, adding subtitles. So all of that takes over 20 hours a week. Then you add in my 20 hours of training, like running specific, then probably 10 hours of running related activities like core, plyometrics, S&C, rehab, stretching, like all of that stuff. And right there, you've got a 50-hour work week. I mean, it's not really work because I love doing it, but it definitely takes up a lot of time. And I'm very lucky that I can call it a job, I guess now. It's kind of ridiculous that full-time running YouTuber, but yeah, thanks to everyone watching these videos, that is possible. And all of that's just supporting my marathon monk lifestyle, the aim to try and go pro. I don't want to be working a normal 9-to-5 job because that would take away from my triple days, all the recovery, all the extra stuff I'm doing, and there's no way I'd be able to put out videos. So this setup is pretty perfect. And the way that I basically make money doing it is through YouTube putting ads on these videos, and then also the sponsors that I take, like Say Sky and Koros and all of those ones. So I've got no other income outside of that. I know a lot of other like running YouTubers, they'll do the coaching and training plans and merch and stuff, all of that, but I'm purely YouTube focused. And I was pleasantly surprised recently, so I put a few more sponsorships on that Copenhagen Marathon vid, and I was a little worried that I might get absolutely burnt, like I'm selling out, but actually everyone seemed to understand that, yeah, I've got to make a living somehow. Like I can't just make these videos completely for free, but with the sponsors it's great because you guys watching don't have to pay anything, but then I can still make money doing it through the brand supporting. So if we look forward to where the YouTube channel is heading, I've got some big plans. Obviously the main one is to turn pro as a runner, and hopefully with that I'll be able to join one of the pro teams out here, because that's the biggest thing I'm missing is training partners to like pull me along to up the levels. Kind of before, when I was at that maybe 218, 217 level, there was some guys around Yogi, around this area that I could run with. But for the last probably 6 months, it's been entirely solo. So it's so hard just grinding out the stuff. And I miss that social aspect as well. Like back in uni, I was always living with teammates, running with teammates every day. And that's what I'm trying to go for again. So that's the one side that hopefully a pro deal would open up. And then the other one is it would free up some of that sweet cash money, because the biggest challenge at the moment is the time factor. So if I had a bit more money, then I could pay for an editor to help with these videos, to basically take off some of the workload. Like I obviously want to still be heavily involved like in the whole production and probably filming and stuff, but maybe just having someone to do a lot of that tedious like back end stuff with the editing, and that's what takes ages. And if I could free up like 10 extra hours a week,
I love your YouTube.
I know, right? Good timing. But that would allow some extra time for me to work on stuff like merch and creating more content. Like I have people asking, oh, can you put out more than one video a week? Like, geez, mate, I can barely get one out. So at the moment, yeah, that's completely impossible. But maybe we can have some extra Ran to Japan goodness if I was working with someone. So I'll keep trying to up the levels in terms of YouTube as well as my running. But if you've got any suggestions for the channel, then leave them in the comments. I try and read through all of them, even if I don't have time to respond. But this has been Jake with Ran to Japan. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, train harder, not smarter.